Hey guys, this is another video just on trigonometry, but this time around what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding the angle inside the triangle rather than a side length. So when we're doing these questions, we're still going to be using our three trigonometric ratios of sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta, but we're just going to be using them in a slightly different way. So I'll just do a couple of examples. And all these questions, you're still going to approach them the exact same way as finding the side length. So whenever we have a question, you're always going to have an angle that you're trying to find. And remember, what you need to do first is you need to label all the sides of your triangle in relation to this angle. So for our sides, this one's the hypotenuse, this one's the opposite, and this is the adjacent. So in order to find my angle, I'm going to be using these two bits of information. So I'm going to be using the opposite and hypotenuse, so I need to use the sine rule. So sine theta is equal to opposite divided by hypotenuse, and then we just substitute in our values. So our opposite was 12, hypotenuse was 13, so I've got sine theta equals 12 divided by 13. Now what I can do is I can put that into our calculator and that'll give us a number, but just to avoid double rounding, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it as a fraction just for now. Now what I need to do is I need to split up this sine and my theta, and the way I do that is what I call the inverse sine. So I'll write it out first and then I'll show you how to do it on the calculator. So my angle is going to equal the inverse sine, and we write it with a sine -1, and I'm going to bracket everything that was over here. So it's 12 over 13. And I'm just going to type this exactly in my calculator as it is, and it will tell me the angle. So where it is on the calculator, and it's the same for most calculators, but you'll have your sine, cos and tan button, and usually if you have your second function or your shift button, if you press that you'll get the inverse sine. So if I press shift sine, it'll come up with sine -1 like that. In the bracket it'll be 12 divided by 13, and I get my answer of 67.38 degrees. So I'll write that down. So the angle is equal to 67.38 degrees, and you're all done. So I'll just do a couple more examples using the other ratios. So first thing I want to do is label your sides. So I've got hypotenuse, I've got my adjacent, and I have my opposite over here. Now the two sides that I have is the opposite and adjacent, so the ratio I'll use is the tan ratio. So I'll write it out. Now it's going to be tan, but instead of, I'll write theta first. So opposite over adjacent. But the symbol for my angle isn't theta anymore, it's an x. So what I'm going to do is replace my theta with my x and also substitute my a and my o value in. So I'm going to have tan x equals opposite of 12 divided by 3.5. Now what I need to do is separate the tan and the x, so I'm going to do the inverse tan. So it's going to be x equals tan -1 in brackets 12 divided by 3.5. I'll type that into the calculator. So it's a shift tan, so I've got inverse tan, oops, and then I've got 12 divided by 3.5, and I end up getting an angle of 73.74 if I round degrees. So x is equal to 73.74 degrees. And I'll just do one more. So same thing, first thing I want to do is label all my sides. So I've got my hypotenuse, I have my adjacent, and I have my opposite. So the ratio I'm going to use this time around is the cos. So it's going to be cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now my symbol for the angle is still a theta, so I'm just going to leave it as is. So it's cos theta, adjacent was 10, hypotenuse was 40, so 10 divided by 40. I need to separate my cos and my angle, so I'm going to do the inverse cos. So theta is going to be cos -1, 10 divided by 40. And if I throw that in on the calculator, get rid of that first. So shift cos to get the cos -1 in brackets 10 divided by 40, and I get an angle of 75.52 degrees. So the angle is 75.52 degrees. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.